Have you ever wondered how teams are able to seemingly know what ults the enemies have? Do not miss this next workout about ultimate tracking. Hey everyone, Eski here again with another Game Gym workout. Ultimate abilities are able to turn the tide of the fight in most cases, and we take a great deal of care when comboing or coordinating our ults. But what about the other team? How can we play our game if we don't know their plan? Today we'll be talking about ultimate tracking and how to accurately predict the other team's plans. So let's head into the warm-up. Ultimate tracking can be one of the hardest jobs to do in Overwatch, so I'm going to play one team fight from a perspective, and I want you to try and guess what the ult charge of the other team would be by the end of the fight. You don't have to track the entire team, but try to track one player. And make sure to hold on to that number even if it's just a ballpark guess, because we'll be coming back to this later. Ultimate tracking is the ability to know when the other team should be getting their ultimates. This is an extremely important job, and is most likely left to players who don't have a lot of mechanics that they need to focus on, like main supports. However, I believe that each player should be able to track their counterpart, like two Ryans when they both know they have Earth Shatter. So in the next few games, I want you to try and track your counterpart. If you're a tank, track the other tank. DPS, track the other DPS, so on and so forth for the next 2 to 3 quick play games. The best way to understand how ult tracking works is that you can usually tell by the end of the first fight. What do I mean by this? All heroes build their ultimates on a point system that's based on both damage and healing numbers. And it takes a certain amount of these points to build an ultimate. So keep an eye on the enemy's damage and healing numbers. They are the secret to knowing what they have. You'll notice that other heroes charge at varying times, so being able to get into the groove of how long it usually takes to build an ultimate for each hero can better prepare you for what the other team has. Now that we have an understanding of how ult tracking can be tracked, what do we do with this information? Let's say that we can track that they have a Nano Blade combo. The next step is being able to identify how we are going to play around it. For this example, these plans can be very simple. You could use a support ult like Beat or Transcendence, but sometimes it can be less straightforward and can be played a certain way without using an ultimate. An example of this would be playing against Mei's Blizzard. If you know that it's coming and you have a Lucio, you can hold on to your amp and speed out of Blizzard, making the ultimate useless. The reason why we learn about ult tracking in one way or another is that we have to interact with it. There can be only so many times that we as players get caught off guard by ultimate combos before we have the gut feeling that they have them. However, if we're able to keep track of the ultimates that are coming our way, we can better play against it solely off the fact that we know that it is coming, and can play in a way that can counter the ultimate. Now that we have a good understanding of what ult tracking is and how to use it, let's go back to the warm-up. Do you still have your answers? We'll review the video one more time, just to be sure. Alright, are you ready to answer? Try and compare what you had to the actual ult on the screen. How close were you to the actual percentages? It's okay to not be exact, but it's generally good to be within a 10% margin of what it actually is. The next step that I will leave you to practice with is, what would you plan to do with this information that you gathered? How does this change your approach to the next fight?